Hello, my name is Dazz, and welcome to Region Locked Light. We see a lot of police in games, and we see a lot of doctors in games, but we don't really see a huge amount of firefighters. There are but a few games that cover the role, with one of the first fully fledged commercial titles being exclusive to the Japanese and European regions. That game is The Firemen on the SNES. The Firemen was created by Human Entertainment and released in 1994. The game's plot takes place in the distant future, the year 2010. Technology has advanced only slightly, and a basic firefighting squad is still the standard way of handling fires. On the evening of a Christmas party being held for staff at a chemical development company known as Microtech, and not in the Nakatomi Plaza, a fire has broken out and is spreading rapidly across the building. With no other option for a safe mission to be carried out, it's up to emergency services to extinguish the fire at any cost and rescue stranded civilians lost throughout the complex. Due to the abundant supply of chemicals, the fire has spread at an alarming rate across the high-rise. The city's D-Sector Fire Brigade has dispatched a unit to the scene, formed of Pete, Daniel, Max, Walter, and Winona. After arriving on the scene, the team learns of a large supply of the highly combustible chemical MDL, located within the building's basement. The unit splits up in order to obtain the MDL as quickly as possible, in hopes of delivering it to the roof in order to blow up a water tank, which should help to extinguish the blaze. A plan that will definitely work. The player takes control of the highly commended Pete Gray, the captain of the 5-member unit, and his second in command, Daniel McLean. Clean. That was not even on purpose. Daniel is able to take care of himself, making use of his fire axe and lighter load to operate control panels and open doors throughout the duo's ascent. Pete has a water hose at his disposal with an infinitely abundant supply of water. He's able to use this high-powered hose to fire water in any direction around him with great distance, while also using it to extinguish flames that might be rising from below him. Pete is also able to strafe with his hose to efficiently extinguish flames. The team can use grenades which release water within a moderate blast radius, though these are limited and must be found throughout the building. By finding civilians, Pete is able to restore a portion of his health, and at the end of each stage, the two must take out an extremely dangerous flame in the form of a boss battle. With the nature of the work carried out in the building, hazards come in many shapes and sizes. Ceilings which fall in, robots which have been fully engulfed in flames, or flames with aggressive habits and patterns will also become more common as the duo progress. The game is made up of stages with a time limit, and while the player has unlimited ammunition, lives are limited to only 3 continues. Daniel is fully controlled by the game's AI, and being invincible is a much-needed partner as progress is made. However, as the team progresses further, backdraft becomes more and more common, and thus opening doors could result in huge explosions, which are really annoying. While the game's setting is in New York, featuring a firefighting team of Americans, the game never saw release in America. It did receive a full translation and was ultimately localized for Europe, featuring English, French, and German languages. It's easy to assume that the game's region-locked status comes from the theme of firefighters being considered uninteresting to an American audience. However, Ignition Factor from Jaleco did receive a release in the States. While an alleged prototype for a US version of the game set to be released surfaced online, one of the owners of a prototype cart, Evan G., performed research only to come to the conclusion that the prototypes are likely only early PAL localizations which had not been script-checked yet. Coverage of the title within America can be found in Electronic Gaming monthly issues of August and September in 1994, where it was first covered in a small segment on Japanese games, and then later receiving a double-page spread, still not stating any plans for localization. The series proved popular enough within the Japanese market that a sequel was created for the PlayStation, this time being published only within Japan. The game featured a 2-player option and added voice acting, but it's considered to be a step backwards for the game's action. Human Entertainment closed its doors at the end of the 90s, taking a number of franchises with it. The company's most notable series, Fire Pro Wrestling, continued on beyond the development house's demise with Spike, and the only other title which had much of an impact in the West was Clock Tower. But with the progression of the survival horror genre at the time, not many people took much notice of its disappearance. The Firemen is a set of 2 games which remained within obscurity and fizzled out with Human Entertainment. That's all for today, but we upload 3 times a week, so be sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching. Don't know what to say.